The movie opens up in a high school classroom where three classmates, Chiho, Kyung, and Dong, are very eager to get a girlfriend. Coincidentally, all of them have a crush on the same girl, Soo-min. Kyung and Dong try to speak with her, but cannot gather enough courage to initiate the conversation. On the other hand, Chiho throws a piece of paper towards Soo-min, asking her to meet him outside the classroom. She obliges and walks out. During their meeting, Chiho touches her chest, but Soo-min doesn't say a word. Later in the classroom, Dong confronts Chiho for misbehaving with Soo-min and starts fighting with him. Fortunately, Kyung intervenes and separates the two. He then takes both of them outside and tries to make them understand that they have grown up and need to act like mature guys. Kyung also proposes to play rock, paper, scissors. The one who wins gets the chance to talk to Soo-min. The other two like the idea, so the game begins. For the first few rounds, everyone draws the same symbol, but eventually, Chiho wins the game and becomes the first one to approach Soo-min. In the next scene, we see that the three friends have finally come to the end of their high school life and continue walking forward. Soon, they arrive at a dividing point of the main road, which is supposed to determine their future. Kyung chooses the one going to the right, stating that he wants to go to college and continue his study. On the other hand, Dong chooses the one going to the left, stating that he wants to do work and also continue learning to be a cartoonist. Surprisingly, Chiho says that he hasn't decided anything and just wants to return back home. Later at night, the three friends are in a restaurant discussing their future. They talk about how they're soon going to turn 20, which is regarded as a midpoint of life between childhood and adulthood. All of a sudden, Chiho gets anxious and suggests that they need to upgrade their lives. He has seen some fellow students in school who have luxurious cars and a lot of wealth at an early age. Chiho believes that they are successful because they get into relationships during their teenage years. Hearing this, all the guys become adamant on finding a girlfriend, believing that it is the key to success. Next, Chiho can be seen with a girl at his house, ready to get intimate. To teach his single friends how to please a girl, he has asked them to hide inside a cupboard. But as soon as Chiho kisses the beautiful girl, Kyung and Dong cannot control themselves and they fall out of the cupboard, startling the girl. As a result, she punches Chiho in the face before walking away. The scene then shifts to Kyung's house where he lives with his mother and his sister Soo-hee. The latter is just a couple of years younger than him, and she troubles him a lot in the house. Moving on, Kyung joins a college in hopes that he will get a beautiful girlfriend there, with whom he can enjoy the rest of his life. Sadly, he does not find one and decides to focus on studying, so that he will end up getting a job instead. One day during the freshman welcome party, Kyung drinks a lot and notices a beautiful girl who is actually his senior. The next day, while waiting for the bus, the same girl approaches him and offers him a lift to college. Kyung cannot believe what just happened and he starts daydreaming about her. But right then, his friend Jiho approaches him and explains that the girl didn't help him because she is fond of him. He shows Kyung the video of him getting drunk at the freshman party and acting wild like a maniac. Jiho assumes that the beautiful girl helped him simply out of pity. Hearing this, Kyung is heartbroken, so he simply walks away from there. Meanwhile, Dong and his family have shifted to a new house. Since he has no father, he has to take care of his two little brothers and his mother. Dong has decided against going to college because of the high fees. Instead, he repeats his last year in high school and works multiple part-time jobs to support his family. During his free time, he attends an art class and hopes to be a good comic artist in the future. In the class, Soo-hee, who is annoying as always. Later in the evening, while Dong is returning to his room, he tries to buy some food for himself. Unfortunately, the shopkeeper tells him that his card has been declined because of a low balance. At home, his mother reveals that because of an emergency, she was compelled to withdraw all the money from his account. That night, Dong sleeps with an empty stomach, but with a smile on his face. The scene then shifts to Chiho, who is simply sitting on a couch doing nothing special in his life. His parents ask him about what he wants to do, but he replies, nothing. Chiho's father then asks him to join the family business and learn the ways to handle it, but he refuses to do that too. Frustrated, his father asserts that if he does not do as asked, he will not provide Chiho with any pocket money. This makes Chiho angry and he begins acting like a child, crying and rolling on the floor. Elsewhere, Kyung starts visualizing his senior, June, everywhere he goes. One day when she calls him by name, he falls for her and mentions that he wants to join her investment club. Surprisingly, this trick works and June invites him to join her for a very long drive away from the city. After hours of driving, the two stop at a beachside restaurant and enjoy their dinner. When June offers a drink to Kyung, he refuses at first, stating who will drive the car if both of them get drunk. But later, when June mentions that they can sleep over, he becomes happy and drinks it. During their conversation, June tells Kyung that her boyfriend is so boring and he does not give her enough time. Following this, we are shown 3 scenes side by side. In one of them, Kyung is driving June slowly to her house. In another, Dong is working his butt off at a restaurant to earn money for his family. And in the last one, Chi-ho is enjoying his time at a club, dancing with random girls. In the following scene, the 3 friends reunite at Kyung's house for a meal, where Chi-ho tells Kyung's mother that he will marry Soo-hee after graduation. The woman doesn't think much of it and simply serves them food. After the meal, the 3 friends go out for a drive. Unfortunately, when Chi-ho exchanges the driving seat with Kyung, he runs over a pretty girl trying to cross the road. The 3 friends immediately take her to the hospital, where the girl asks for 3 million yen in return. Chi-ho tells her that he doesn't have enough money to pay her. In return, the girl, Yun-hae, who turns out to be an underrated actor, asks Chi-ho to be her manager to skip settlement charges. Having no other options, he immediately agrees to it. Next, Yun-hae takes Chi-ho to her shooting set and asks him to act like her manager. She also makes it clear that he needs to do this for 5 days. At first, Chi-ho doesn't like Yun-hae, but after spending some time around her, he starts having feelings for her and even drops her home every night. Yun-hae asks him to stop following her and tells him that she is not as innocent and as humble as she looks from the outside. However, Chi-ho has truly fallen for her and does not stop pursuing her, despite Yun-hae asking him to stay away. The movie then shifts to Dong, where he gets a sad message that his mother is admitted to the hospital. Wasting no time, he heads there and meets his uncle. The two have not spoken in years because of something that happened in the past. To break the ice, the uncle tells Dong that though they don't have a smooth relationship, he wants him to look after his factory and take over once he retires. Dong doesn't want to accept the offer, but when he realizes that he can finally have funds for his art career, he agrees. Meanwhile, Kyung and June together attend a lecture. Surprisingly, the professor approaches them, grabs June by her hand, and takes her out of the classroom. Here, Kyung learns that June's boyfriend is none other than the professor himself. With a broken heart, he then walks out of the classroom. On the other hand, Yun-hae finds out about Chi-ho's girlfriend, Soo-min, and becomes very angry at him. She yells at him for lying to her and asks him to go away from her life. Following this, Chi-ho meets up with Soo-min at his house and breaks up with her. In the next scene, Kyung and Soo-min can be seen at the park talking to each other as both of them recently got their heart broken. Kyung looks at Soo-min and thinks to himself, why girls only love bad boys who break their heart time and time again. He also decides that from now on, he will turn into a bad guy and try to hit on girls. Soo-min explains that it will not suit him. She also tells him that he will never be able to forget his first love. Hearing this, Kyung looks at Soo-min and reveals that his first love is none other than her. A few days pass by, and one evening, while Dong and Soo-hee are returning home after their class, Soo-hee suddenly hugs Dong from behind and expresses her love for him. She then runs away from there, but not before telling Dong that he can take his time to make his decision and reply to her. Dong smiles as she runs away innocently. Moving on to the next scene, we see Kyung and Soo-min walking together as they have started dating. Unfortunately, they run into Chi-ho, who becomes upset to find his ex-girlfriend dating his best friend. Later, Dong gets a text message from Soo-hee. She wants a reply to her proposal. As soon as Dong reads it, he goes to his mother and tells her that he has decided to join hands with his uncle and look after his factory. His mother tries to stop him, but Dong mentions that this will improve their financial condition and eventually help them make their lives better. Dong also tells his mother that he likes a girl and she is as beautiful as her. At night, when Dong does not arrive in time to meet Soo-hee, she starts crying and calls Kyung, telling him that Dong has left the art class and his part-time job. Right then, Dong arrives there with a new hairstyle, and Soo-hee again starts crying. The scene then shifts to a restaurant where Dong, Soo-hee, Soo-min, Kyung, and Chi-ho are discussing their lives. Chi-ho yells at Dong for walking out of the college entrance exam, but the latter explains that he did it to focus more on his family. While the whole group is discussing their miserable lives, a group of thugs enters the restaurant and threatens the owner to pay off his debt. Right then, the group's leader notices the restaurant's owner's wife and asks her to come with him. Witnessing the owner getting insulted, Kyung gets enraged, so he jumps in the air to kick the thug leader. The other friends also join him, and together, they manage to kick the thugs out of the restaurant. The scene then fast forwards a couple of months, and now Dong has successfully become a part of his uncle's factory and has continued working on his comics. On the other hand, Chiho is as useless as ever. At one point he wanted to make movies, but he immediately abandoned the idea after getting into a fight with the director. Lastly, we see Soo-min and Kyung enjoying their time together, where they talk about investment and making more money. In the following scene, Kyung is at his home when his mother informs him that he, along with his friends, have been invited for military training. Before attending military training, the three best friends decide to go cross-country hiking. In the last scene, while walking around the beautiful countryside, Chiho complains about the hike and states that he wants to return home. Right then, out of nowhere, Dong confesses his love for Soo-hee, making Kyung and Chiho speechless. The movie ends with Kyung chasing Dong, holding a rock in his hands, and Dong yelling that he really loves Soo-hee and will spend the rest of his life with her.